All right, everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented writer, director, producer, actor sometimes, Mr. Adam Rifkin. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hello. Happy to be here.
I'm very excited to have you on. I've been a big fan of your work for a long time when I didn't even know who you were, but I didn't even know it was your work, but like you have some things that you've done that are super impressive, and we're going to talk about all of those. Let me introduce you to everybody, starting off with my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
Hi, and yes, I will sign the contract you sent me for your next film.
Then we got the man behind the boards, Mr. Chad Murphy.
Hey, Adam, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, Chad.
Good to have you.
Then we have a chat room.
Chad, I didn't know you were Jewish. You said brother.
Oh.
Nobody got that one.
That was terrible. All right. Then we have a chat room full of people. We have the UK, we have Canada, we have Germany, we have Australia, Ireland. We have like Estonia. Everything is represented, so say hi to everybody in the chat room.
Hey, gang.
There you go.
Also, we have a spacecraft that's up there, and the aliens get us too. They're my relatives. We're all alien. Did you know that?
I had a feeling.
We are the descendants of the ancient aliens.
You're gonna like love it. All right, so let's talk.
And I don't do drugs.
You and me both.
Good for you.
You're gonna
Adam.
love it.
Good for you, Adam. Adam, tell me about your film. And
no, not yet. I want to go into the film later on.
I may die any minute. I'm old.
You're not gonna. Listen to him. All right.
No, because I want to get to the Burt Reynolds thing.
Okay, so everybody listen up.
Let me cut real quick. Burt's in your film. What's his deal? Is he well? Is he okay?
He's on every major talk show on the planet right now.
Burt's doing great.
He looks fantastic.
Healthy as an ox. Absolutely. He's doing great.
Alien too. He just keeps redoing himself. He keeps like fixing his body.
He's in great shape.
Love it.
The last person to see him was my dear friend Perry Winkler's daughter, and Perry Winkler was married to Lee Winkler, who was Lee's business manager.
Burt's business manager.
Burt's business manager before time began, before Burt was anybody. And she said that he was very ill, very frail, wrinkled and old and sunken and skinny.
He looks great now.
Find out what his trick is. Find out what he's taking.
So, all right, since you want to go with that. So, everybody, listen, Adam's got a new movie. It just came out, I believe, a couple of days ago. It's available everywhere. It's called The Last Movie Star. He wrote it. He directed it. It stars Burt Reynolds, Ariel Winter, Chevy Chase, Nikki Blonsky, and Clark Duke. I picked those because those are all people who I actually know who they are. I mean, it's got lots of other great people and talented people in it. It looks very, very good. In a minute, we're going to show you guys a trailer for it. Because we want everybody to watch it. It's really fantastic, and I want to say, number one, kudos to you because it looks really good, and since I've seen lots of your other work, I know it's going to be a fabulous film. Tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you. Well, The Last Movie Star is about an older man who used to be the biggest movie star in the world, but now has to face the reality that his glory days are behind him, and the events of the movie force him to reflect on his past and the mistakes that he made. And Burt gives a beautiful performance. And I wrote the movie specifically for Burt Reynolds because when I was a kid, Burt Reynolds was my hero. And he was the biggest movie star in the world at that time. And I also thought he was the funniest guy and the coolest guy. So when I got older, what's that?
He is all those things.
That's right. So when I got older and I was making movies of my own, I thought to myself, I need to give something back to Burt Reynolds for all the years of joy he's given me and so many others.
That's so cool.
So I wanted to write a role for him that he would hopefully be excited to play, that he could sink his teeth into, and he could remind people what a brilliant actor he is. Because I think his movie star persona sometimes overshadowed him as an actor, and I think his acting is brilliant. I mean, you look at Deliverance, The Longest Yard, even Boogie Nights, he was nominated for an Oscar. But people think of the more action movies or comedies when they think of him.
Or Smokey and the Bandit or something.
Yeah, right. So anyway... So we sent him the script, and I said to his manager, I didn't know him, but I said to his manager, please tell Burt if he doesn't want to do this movie, I'm not making it. I only wrote it for Burt. And the next day, Burt Reynolds called me, my childhood hero, and he said he'd do it. And it was an amazing experience.
I love it.
He's still in Florida. He still lives in Florida, folks. But he sold the big plantation that I went there. He had a spread with miles and miles of land and houses and horses and stuff. Well, he sold that. Now I understand he's in an apartment somewhere. So probably financially, you're doing a big thing for him also. A megastar like he was, that was worth millions of dollars. Lee Winkler, who was his business manager, told me no one could spend money like Burt Reynolds. And I believe that Burt is broke. And I'm so happy.
Don't say that.
Oh, no, this is honest show. I don't bullshit like you.
I don't necessarily know that is true.
Well,
in fact, when I visited him multiple times in Florida, it was at a sprawling estate, not an apartment. So that's I think that may be the estate you're talking about.
How long ago was this?
This was last year.
Then I guess he never stole it. That's very. I'm happy about that. I don't want.
Yeah.
I like Burt. I liked him all. I've been with Burt many times, lunches, dinners, parties up at the Lee Winkler house up in Beverly Hills. I'm happy because Burt is really a genuinely nice guy. He's like a guy you could meet in a gas station while you're having your car fixed and have a big conversation with him. Burt never was a snob. Never did he down talk to anybody. In fact, he was sort of shy. Would you believe Burt Reynolds to be shy about many things? The love of his life was not Sally Fields, as publicity says. The love of his life was that Swedish actress who committed suicide. When she killed herself, Burt was so beside himself that Lee Winkler rented a motel room, and for 4 days, Burt Reynolds was screaming, crying, smashing furniture.
That's weird.
Inga Stevens was her name. Burt was crazy about her, and she killed herself.
I love him. Anyway, let's go
that's
forward.
A little bit about Burt Reynolds for everybody.
He's fabulous, you guys.
But hang on, Jimmy. This is sensitive for me. I know the man. For those of you out there who don't know who Burt Reynolds is, don't only think of him as a centerfolder guy. Burt Reynolds has so many things about him that's fascinating. He's still handsome, I think. Can't lose those looks. And he would chuckle. He was a chuckle guy, am I right?
That's right. He's great. One of the great laughs of all time.
And I think he should work all the time. And I think everybody out there should get him work. Just because we get old. I'm going to be 78 in May. I'm still looking for work. I'm a damn good actor. I could pull anything off. But you know, they hear your age. They figure you're going to die on the set in a day and a half.
Actually, that's what I read on your so on the last movie star on IMDb. I took the information off of it, and at the end of it, it said, on its surface, the film's a tale about faded fame. At its core, it's a universal story about growing old, which I think that's a topic that nobody wants to touch except for you.
And me.
Ron talks about it on the line, but you really have kind of like taken a topic that's kind of taboo to talk about and are bringing it to light, and I think that's one of the coolest things about this film.
Adam.
Thank you. Yes.
Adam, listen to me. All right? You ready?
Ready.
Send me anything you have to promote this film.
Thank you.
I will promote this film night and day, day and night. Facebook, Instagram, all over the place. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I have 22,000 fans. I have 4.5 million viewers. I can push. I push good.
Excellent. Please do. Thank you.
My people out there love me, right, everybody?
Absolutely.
I don't blow smoke up anybody's ass, and I tell the truth. And I think that you did a marvelous thing. I kind of love you already. I don't even know you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mazel for you, baby. Mazel.
Thank
I
you.
want to say
Thank
to you, everybody in the chat room is saying that it sounds awesome.
And
you said something. But you said, for people who don't know Burt Reynolds, which in my head, I guess because I'm old, I have a hard time thinking there could be anybody who doesn't know who Burt Reynolds is. But there can be young people, and I think young people will probably enjoy this too because it's got people in it that young people know. I mean, everybody. Clark Duke is in a ton of stuff. He makes
and
a lot
Ariel
of
Winter is very famous off of Modern Family.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got a stellar cast to go with it. And I think one thing I want to do before we keep talking about it is let's play the trailer for everybody to see it.
But we can't see the trailer.
That's not your fault.
I know that. We're under construction. Nothing is working.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that.
We just moved to Palm Springs from Pennsylvania.
They're building the studio. We have lights hanging. We're echoing because we're in the wrong microphones. We have the wrong lighting. This show is a mess today. But I want to see your film badly.
So hold on.
I have one other point to make. Senior films, which I consider this to be, are grossing a lot of money now because of that wonderful film about the gay son she went looking for. Many films now have senior stars with young stars. That's what they're doing. They're smart. They're bringing the senior audiences with the young audiences.
Yes.
And that's a wonderful thing that's happening. I'm so happy, Adam, for what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're on my thing. You're on my brainwave.
So hold on,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chad, do you have the trailer?
Yes, sir, I do.
TCM. I used to have a television show for 5 years where I interviewed the legends of Hollywood. You name them, I interviewed them.
Fantastic.
And none of them were Jane Russell, hello, my best friend, Laura McCall, Cliff Robertson.
Amazing.
The list goes on. None of them were working. And my heart broke because...
Unfortunately, we live in a society that's a little bit ageist. People don't want to admit that.
Very ageist.
No,
very ageist.
Also disposable.
Yeah.
We spoke. With Europe, they have opera singers until they drop dead singing, and they revere it. Here, let me pass it on again to you, Adam, and use this expression. Laura McCall and I were, you know who Laura McCall is?
One of the greats.
I don't know. And I were having a chat. And I said, you know what? We have difficulty with the old movies. People don't want to see old movies. She said, Ron, stop. A movie is only old after you've seen it.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
Use it all the time. When they say, oh, I don't like those old films. Oh, no. And I tell them, a movie's only old. She was wonderful. I like Laura McCall.
So hold on. Chad, you got the video, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, actually, too, we're going to give a shout-out. Thomas Churchill's in the chat room, and he said Adam is amazing, and he was the reason. Like, he tweeted to me to have you on the show to promote the film, so I want to thank him for doing that.
Him.
And he's in the chat room, so just say hi to Tom.
Hey, man, good to hear it from you. Thank you again.
Well, the good news is Tommy just starting a new movie, and I'm starring in it.
Anyway, so here what I want you to do. You introduce the film, Adam. We're going to play the trailer for everybody. Then we're going to come back and talk some more, but that way everybody watching now can see it.
Thank you.
So here's the trailer for The Last Movie Star, which premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival, where it was bought by the great distributor A24. And this is the trailer.
Here we go.
Got to show you this. What do you think?
Well, you're being honored. You'll be presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
So what?
You told him I was his 24/7 driving slave for the entire weekend.
Look who the previous winners are. Robert De Niro, Jack Nicholson, and Clint Eastwood.
Oh, what?
Hi.
Mr. Edwards.
Yeah. You should see this rat hole.
You're there already. Just enjoy it.
What the hell is this?
This is the festival. Welcome to Nashville.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Edwards, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you here.
How are you?
Thank you for coming to the film festival. Let's get you over to the red carpet.
Why the hell are you even here?
Because Clint and Jack and Bobby De Niro all won.
You are the only one stupid enough to show up.
There are things I've done.
Where's Vic?
He left.
Vic! Sloshed.
Yell bang.
Bang. Oh my God!
Take back.
I'm tired of feeling like a has-been.
The #1 box office star for 5 years in a row.
6.
6, I'm sorry.
Better choices.
Take the next exit.
I take some different roads.
Where are you guys?
He's on some weird memory tour or something.
My God, here you are. I can't believe it.
Is it true that you doubled Burt Lancaster?
I did double somebody on that picture. I had to fall off a horse in a dress.
That's why you took to look at him.
An audience will forgive a shitty act 2 if you can wow them in act 3.
The Hollywood Critics Association awarded you Best Newcomer of the Year.
That's the only time I ever agreed with a critic.
All right, there you go, Jimbo.
Everybody, so that was The Last Movie Star. It's available. Tell everybody where it's available for them to get it.
It is available in select cities, so check to see if it's in your city, but it's also available simultaneously on all other platforms, so you can see it any number of ways.
Perfect.
Now, about ageism and about this film. It's about an old man, who's down and out, who's a has-been. Do you think the film's going to do good? Well, let me tell you something. Look what Norma Desmond did in Sunset Boulevard. It became the #1 film. It became a Broadway #1 play musical, and it's still running all over the country. So it goes to show you that stories about old people trying to make it back sells. Don't be idiots. Go see this film. It's got to be a great film. I'm sorry we don't have the trailer because we're all screwed up here.
We do.
Lucky a 2x4 doesn't kill me now. But seriously, this subject matter is sensitive. Bring your mothers, bring your fathers, bring your grandfathers, your grandmothers. Drive them if they can't drive. This is a film that must be seen. Burt Reynolds, who I adore, and as I said, I used to see him up in Charles Place in Beverly Hills with Lee and Perry Winkler a lot. A darling man, a fabulous actor. Go see the film. Please do.
Or rent the film. You don't have to go anywhere. You can rent the film because it's available on all the different platforms.
So I cannot wait. When am I going to see it? You going to send me something?
Absolutely. I'd love you to see it as soon as possible.
Like tonight, when I'm in bed, I'll have chocolate ice cream and your film.
So listen up, you guys.
It's a deal.
And I will call you back and discuss it with you. And I definitely am inviting you back again now. I will invite you back in about a month or 2 or 3. Let's give it 3 months. When is your film breaking?
It's out now.
It's out now. It opened on Friday.
Friday it came out.
Let's get you back when we get the results.
I'd love to.
Be fabulous. I think it's
because I love what you did. I think it's fabulous. It's heartwarming as well as talented.
So you guys listen up.
How's the script? The truth. Is it a decent script?
I like to think so.
Are you happy with it? Is what I'm saying.
I'm very happy with it. I'm very proud of it, and I think the film turned out very well. And I think Burt's performance in it is beautiful.
Well, that we assume. I mean, there's not, Burt Reynolds is an actor. He's been around forever. Don't forget, Lee Winkler picked him up when Burt Reynolds was like a teenager, and nobody wanted him. They said he couldn't see with those narrow eyes. They all said Marlon Brando eyes, they used to call him. And Lee Winkler became friends with Burt. Burt, this is before he did the sailor thing, where he was on a TV show as a sailor.
Right.
And Lee Winkler believed in him. Well, Burt stayed with Lee Winkler for 40 years, as Lee was his global business management was Lee Winkler, my dearest friend in the world, Lee Winkler. He has passed away a couple of years ago. But his wife, who's 96, is still my dear friend,
wow.
Perry Winkler. Perry Winkler lives in Palm Springs.
So hold on, let's go. I want to, so first of all, you guys, if you want to also keep up with all the updates of what's going on, Adam's on Twitter. He tweets his own tweets. You can go to @Adam Rifkin. It's Rifkin. I want to talk a little bit just about your career, and then when we're finishing up at the end, we'll do another push for the last movie star.
One more question, Jimmy. You can have the floor. What gave you the idea to do this? What prompted you to do it?
He told you already.
No, I forgot. I'm old.
Well, because Burt was my hero as a kid, and because I felt he was he didn't get his due as an actor enough, so I wanted to give him a great role at this stage of his life.
Right.
I love it. I think the premise is so fantastic.
My sweet, almost 78. Pretty good.
You look great. You look great.
Gee, I move. I'm
going to do some little bragging.
And I don't piss myself either.
because you guys, Adam is very humble on his successes. I'm going to do a little thing that I like to do for the people who come on, because we have a lot of people who come on who have been had great careers and very fortunate to work with a lot of really.
And also, we don't like it when you do it because our fans say, "Oh, he's so full of himself." So if we do it. Now, here's what you do. I'm going to direct you. As we do it, go modest. Oh.
Okay, I will.
Too modest, stop.
To get an idea of some of the people, and this is just some because I really did it really quickly today, but these are some of the people that he's actually been fortunate to work with and have in his different films that he's written or directed. And I think the whole writing thing is super amazing. So we don't have a whole ton of writers on who aren't also actors full time and all these other things. So you really have had a stellar career. And so here's some of the people, you guys, besides the people that are in The Last Movie Star, which I'll repeat: Burt Reynolds, Ariel Winter, Chevy Chase, Clark Duke, Nikki Blonsky. He's worked with Bill Paxton, Wayne Newton, Judd Nelson, Rob Lowe, James Caan. I love all the 80s people. Lara Flynn Boyle. He had a film called The Dark Backward, which was a top 10 film for the declared by the New York Post, which is not your neighborhood freaking newspaper. Really big deal. He's also worked with Natasha Lyonne. I love her. She's fabulous. Vinnie Jones, Tim Allen, Ali Larder, Gary Busey, Talia Shire, Lynn Shay, who's been on the show. Edward Furlong's been on the show. Sam Huntington's been on the show. David Arquette, Missy Pyle, Harry Hamlin, Ray Wise, Eric Roberts, Dennis Farina, Colton Haynes, who is one of the biggest stars on the planet now.
Eric Roberts, fabulous actor. Love Eric.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other ones. I didn't bring up everybody.
You got a stellar star with Eric. And
Thank you.
Boyle is phenomenal.
I have to tell you though, like, because I'm a superhero fan. Like, I have everything. I collect action figures. I do the whole thing. And I thought that Zoom was one of the greatest family films for a family film for kids involving superheroes. I've probably seen it like 30 times, literally. Like, I watch it all the time when it comes on. And that's actually, out of all your great credits, because that's like maybe not your best credit, but to me that's like my favorite credit, because I think that is such a great.
Thank you so much.
It will stand the test of time, and anybody who's got children can show that film to their kids, forever. It'll stand forever.
Don't you just love
Thank
our
you, sir.
show? Don't you love our show?
I'm loving it. I'm having a great time.
Enjoying it. Love it.
You guys, he also did one of the segments for horror movie fans, Chillerama. Tim Sullivan, has been on the show a bunch of times back in the day, and you did one of the episodes of Chillerama, which was a lot of fun. He wrote, I don't know, some of these things, I don't know if you wrote them or directed them, so I'm just going to give out titles, but you have done a lot of cool family films. You did Underdog, you did Mouse Hunt.
I wrote Underdog, I wrote Mouse Hunt.
Small Soldiers, which I had all the action figures.
That's cool. Also as a writer.
And then Detroit Rock City, which is like a cult classic for the generation right after me.
I directed that film.
And that film is just freaking like awesome. And everybody, you probably haven't seen that, but you guys, everybody needs to see Detroit Rock City. It's like a total coming of age film about, like, I think it's 4 guys, right? 4 guys going to see a Kiss concert.
That's right.
It is and I have the 2 feet tall Kiss dolls that sing.
Cool.
Push a button and they sing. So I think that, and I didn't pick out everything that you've done. I picked out all the things that I've seen and I thought were fabulous. But for such a young age, what a stellar career.
Thank you.
One quick thing. I will strike a bargain with you. Before I said I will promote your film for days, okay? Now you owe me. You owe me. I want you to please contact Stan Zimmerman.
He might know Stan Zimmerman.
Do you know Stan Zimmerman?
I don't.
For the Golden Girls.
He wrote Gilmore Girls. He's one of the writers on Gilmore Girls.
He's got a hit play coming up in L.A., a big play coming up. He's a big shot.
He's from L.A. He's in L.A., I think.
You have to go see it. Anyway, Stan Biggie. He's written a thing called The Silver Foxes about 4 old gay men in Palm Springs. I am blowing it out and supporting him like all over the place, and he's so grateful. Because it's, again, about ageism. Could you contact him and just say to him, because of Ron Russell, I am supporting Silver Foxes.
I would love to.
He needs to be supported because nobody wants to touch it because of the subject matter.
Well, I will touch it. I will happily support it.
Please do. Maybe you could get in on it or something. There is money there to get the smell out there. There's Gelf, baby, Gelf. Oy vey, it's me. What am I gonna do? I gotta get these.
No, they have a really cool like concept going with the whole thing, and it's gonna be like the Golden Girls with gay guys in Palm Springs.
I think it sounds great.
And guess who they've got reading for it?
Who?
I know
they have George Takei is playing one of the characters. Leslie Jordan is one of the characters. Bruce Valanche is one of the characters. And I forgot who the other guy was.
So they've got wonderful comics there and of all kinds of different looks. It's going to be a hit show because Stan wrote for the Golden Girls. Come on.
That's great. It's a great idea, too.
Somebody you should actually know just in general Stan. Because he's really cool and he's got a bunch of Emmy nominations and stuff. Like I'd love to
know him. I'd love to reach out to him.
And he's I love him. He's my new good friend. In fact, we're going in to see the play. We're having dinner. So I will tell him about you. But please help support another producer.
I would be thrilled to. Happy to.
You know what? He will support you. And he'll get your Burt Reynolds thing out to his people. This is what it's all about. In my day, it was networking. Today, they don't network because they're jealous little fuckers.
Right? He can't comment, but...
Why should I promote his film and he makes all the money when I could be in that spot making the money? That was not years ago. Years ago, an actor helped an actor. See, Burt Reynolds, if I was a famous star, which I am, today... I would have said to my director and producer, I want Burt Reynolds in my film.
Yeah.
So let's do it like thank
you.
A bucket list. So because you've already worked with some of the biggest stars on the planet and gotten to do, if you could have worked on any film or written any film in history, You know, where you would have been able to either write it or direct it. What film would be the film that you would be like, oh, I wish I would have been involved in this film?
Well, rather than put it like that, how about if I tell you some of the actors that are no longer with us that I would have loved to have been able to work with?
There you go. Oh, he's going to love this.
I would have loved to work with Robert Mitchum. I think Robert Mitchum was super cool.
Robert Mitchum was a drunk, a pothead. And when he was loaded, he wasn't a very nice person. Jane Russell was my dear friend Jane Russell, who was my buddy I hung out with, loved Robert Mitchum, best friend. And Jane Russell said one night Bob and I had a contest, who could drink who under the table, and Jane Russell beat him. Well, he said to her, now that you beat me, I'll never get an erection again. So she... Bob Mitchum was a funny guy, but he could be a little bit on the tough side.
Oh, I have no doubt. But, man, he was sure cool in the movies, and I would have loved to have worked with him.
Handsome and talented and phenomenal. Go.
I would have loved to have worked with Betty Davis.
He's friends with her.
Oh, great.
With her at Les Moustaches. She's sitting there with a silver hat down like this and sunglasses and no lipstick. Now, we finish lunch, and she turns around and she says, oh, no, she puts her lipstick on and says, more coffee. Well, 1,000 queens that were in Les Moustaches heard it and started screaming, and they ran over. Oh, Miss Davis, I love you, I love you, I love you. And all she did was say, of course you do. Of course you do.
That's great.
I love Betty. I knew Betty for many years, and she wrote about me in her book, a little of this and a little of that, except she screwed it up. She put me in England and not here at the museum.
Did you like Betty and Joan? Did you watch Betty and Joan?
I did, and I did enjoy it, but I hear that it wasn't entirely accurate from people who knew the players.
Livia de Havilland absolutely adored Betty Davis. She was Betty Davis' sister, best friend. Livy would never have said an unkind word about Betty Davis. And I support Olivia on her suit now. That's terrible. They made her out to be a nasty old bitch from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Betty hated Miriam Hopkins. Miriam Hopkins, she hated more than Joan Crawford, actually. She got a kick out of Crawford. She always think Crawford was a cartoon character. But Miriam Hopkins, she said, was a snake, an evil upstaging bitch.
You're like my age. Did you know all those people before? I honestly.
No, he said he wished they were alive.
No. Did you?
You wouldn't want to work with Betty.
You didn't let me finish. Let me finish, please. Because we're about the same age. I never watched a Turner Classic movie in my life until I met Ron. So up until 5 years ago, I had never seen a single old film ever, except for Wizard of Oz. Were you always kind of a fan of the older films?
Always. All of my favorite films, my entire life growing up, were made years before I was born, decades before I was born.
What are some of your favorite films?
Well, my first love of movies.
Hang on.
I want to hear the rest of the people he wishes he
could work with. My first love of movies was monster movies when I was a little kid. And that introduced me to the Boris Karloffs and the Bela Lugosi's and the Vincent Prices, who I worshipped.
Vincent Price, I worked with him.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, it was a film called Breakfast or Lunch at Mummy's, like a mummy. Didn't go anywhere, it was a bomb. Vinny was old, hello. This was 1967, 68, and we all had to run down Hollywood Boulevard at sunrise because we were vampires and we were exploding into dust. And Vinny was a vampire. So there I am sitting on the curb next to him with a bunch of other people. That's what he was like. He sat on the curb. He didn't go in his Vincent Price chair. And we gabbed and gabbed. He had a wonderful sense of humor. I suspected he was gay, closeted, but a funny man and a delightful man. And Vincent Price, I truly enjoyed you. Tony Thomas.
Well, he's one of the main ones that I would have loved to have worked with. I mean, if he were alive, I'd love to work with Vincent Price.
I love it. Wait, go tell me some of the favorite movies, though. Tell us.
We only have a few minutes, and I want to.
Wait, I want to hear. This is better. Some of the other film. I mean, I was a huge fan of Billy Wilder movies. Huge fan of silent films. Big fan of Buster Keaton. Big fan of Charlie Chaplin. Big fan of Harold Lloyd growing up. I also loved, as I got older and I started to appreciate movies of the more modern era, then I started becoming obsessed with the Godfathers and the Taxi Drivers and Kubrick and people like that. But you know, and that, you know, eventually as I got older, I just became a student of all kinds of film, you know.
Okay.
Love it.
Now, let me say something. You built a fabulous foundation. That's why you're able to do today what you do, because you have the history behind you. You didn't come in today to this moronic, stupid shit that they put on film, blowing everybody up. All right? You came in when people were actors and had scripts and had words and said things, and you learned from that subconsciously. That's why I'm going to adore your film. Listen.
Thank you.
You ever get to Palm Springs?
I do.
Call me. I want to have lunch with you with Jimmy, and I think we can really work out a lot of good stuff. You're very interesting, and I want to introduce you to some people down the road from our historic leader film, preserving the great films of yesteryear. I think you could be a big worker at that, because you sure know your stuff.
Thank you. I would love that.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I respect the fact that you respect my era of stars. There was nothing like Barbara Stanwyck or Joan Crawford or Betty Davis.
Incredible, yeah.
Rita Hayworth, Lana Turner, who I knew. I mean, wonderful people.
I love Hollywood history.
Well, they were wonderful people. They were only abused by the studio. The studios abused them terribly. Yeah. But they were very nice people who made very little money. They didn't get $1 million salaries.
Yeah, yeah.
Betty Davis got $250,000 a picture towards the end, if she was lucky. That's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
I gotta love it.
To work a full film, you know, that's a lot of months, 3 months of work. So anyway, yeah, I was just thrilled meeting you. I'm so happy you came on the show. Churchill,
thank you, likewise.
Churchill, thank you, Churchill, for sending me this what am I going to call him? This fighter, this soldier.
So let's go back and promote, because we've got 4 minutes. So let's go back. So everybody, this is Adam Rifkin. You can follow him on Twitter at Adam Rifkin.
And watch his movie.
The Last Movie Star. It's out everywhere on all the digital download site places. You can rent it. You can buy it. Let's watch it. Let's support it. Let's make it a big hit. Let's make it #1 on iTunes. Everybody,
please.
You get it on iTunes.
By the way, for people who see it, please write, if you like it. Please write positive words about it on IMDb or iTunes or Amazon or Rotten Tomatoes. The more love we get from, or Facebook, the more love we get online from people out there who like it, the more we can raise the scores, and that just every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
Everyone out there that does not have my Facebook number, it's Ron Russell Show. AOL.com, is that how it's on Facebook?
Just all I got to do is plug in Ron Russell Show.
There's another guy that says his title is The Real Ron Russell, so I guess his name is real, mine is fake. Anyway, go to the Ron Russell Show, come on board, it's open to the world, and tell me about this film after you've seen it. And I will respect your yeses or nos.
But there's only going to be yeses, because it's fabulous.
Well, if there's a nut job
I hope so.
He's an asshole. That's going to do. I hated it. It was horrible. And I hate Burt Reynolds. You know,
and anybody who's coming in late, the name of the movie is The Last Movie Star. This is Adam Rifkin. He's the writer and the director. It stars Burt Reynolds, Ariel Winter, Chevy Chase, Nikki Blonsky, and Clark Duke. And it's about an aging former movie star forced to face the reality that his glory days are behind him. On its surface, the film's a tale about faded fame. At its core, it's a universal story about growing old, and it's a taboo subject. We want to give kudos to you for bringing it up in the first place, and for writing something for Burt Reynolds, because he was like my childhood kind of like hero icon
and
also.
Also, for all of you out there who are smug and smiling, you have choices in this world, growing old or dying. And if you grow old, watch this film so you'll know what growing old is all about. When no one wants you anymore and you can't earn a living and you have to live on a stupid Social Security check that's less than garbage. It's a tragedy how America does not take care of its aging and its old. We don't have the proper medical attention or the proper places to go to if we haven't any family and we're 80 and 90. We're living so long now. It's not like years ago you lived to 50. That was called an old bag. Now, today, 90,
now I'm an old
95,
bag.
100.
Adam, you and I are old bags. We're 50.
My grandmother, who I was very close to, the great Libby Sokol, just passed away 2 nights ago at 97.
Oh my gosh!
See that? Mazel. Anyway, sad for her. But yeah, definitely, we're growing older. Look at my friend Perry Winkler, Lee's wife. She's 97. And she wears high heels, lipstick, hairdos, and gowns like a real typical.
Right.
So everybody, please support.
From Ocean Parkway, darling, I'm dying.
You guys, please support.
And she calls me, Ronald, darling, what's doing?
So you guys, please support Adam Rifkin, support The Last Movie Star, follow him on Twitter, and let's get the news out to everybody that you know. If you see me tweeting about it, please retweet the tweets, and let's bring a lot of attention to this fabulous film. And we want to thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, and good luck with the movie.
And contact me. Let's get together. Let's see what we can do about this film to get it out. I want to bring it to the Camelot Theater here in Palm Springs.
I would love that.
Meet, let's talk, let's see. I don't want any money, by the way. I'm doing this because, no, seriously, I'm not going to say I want money.
Of course you don't.
I don't want money.
We never make money.
This is my passion, and I'm doing it to give back to my
All right, everybody, we got to go, though, because it is 4:50. Adam, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you.
A great pleasure.
Hey, everybody in the chat room. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Everybody have a great weekend. Chad, you're a rock star. Bye, everybody.
I'm just chilling, jimmystarshow, sitting down and designing. Why every man never thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
British punk, yo, what I wanna be. Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Stars. He'll dress you right. You'll feel like a star. We'll hook you up. Now you look sexy. Your game is tight. Gonna get laid tonight. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star. You need Jimmy Star. Jimmy Star.
One day I was walking down the street. My mate come up to me and said, "Hey mate, wanna go to a